Alright, so basically this is what I look like when I wake up. My hair's a mess. Of course I have no makeup on. I don't sleep with makeup, at least I try not to, but this is what I look like. And today I'm going to show y'all what I like to do for like my everyday makeup. Like, I don't wear tons of makeup every day. I only wear a little bit. For my everyday makeup, it's honestly super simple. If I wasn't doing this video, this would literally take me like 5 minutes and I would be out the door. So that's basically what I'm going to show y'all, how I get ready and how I do my everyday makeup, which is not a lot, honestly. It's really simple. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do first is tie my hair up because I hate having my hair in my face while I do my makeup. So I'm just gonna tie this up, and I'll probably still look a mess anyway, but still. Excuse this, I have no clue what that is, so we're just gonna ignore that. Hopefully you can't see it. Yeah, don't pay attention to that. Again, this is what my bare face looks like. This routine is honestly super simple. I feel like anybody can do it, and this is just what works best for me. So I start off with hydrating my face with my Caudalie, my Jason Wu for Caudalie beauty elixir. This is what it looks like. This honestly smells so good, and I feel like it really does something to my face. It really does tighten and hydrate my face. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this all over. Smells so good. So actually normally what I do is put my moisturizer on first and then the beauty elixir, but it's okay, you can do it backwards. Now I'm just gonna put a little bit of my moisturizer, and the one that I use is from Believe, and it's the moisturizing balm. Honestly, I use this day and night, and I've gone through maybe 4 jars of this. I'm actually almost out of it, so it's time for me to renew this one again. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit and put it all over my face. Even though I'm wearing very little makeup today, I still want to make sure that my skin is prepped right. So once I have that on, now I'm just going to prime my face, and I'm going to use my Optical Illusion from Urban Decay, which is honestly my favorite primer. And I take the smallest amount of it, and I'm just going to place this right in my T-zone, but kind of focusing it more right here on the cheek area, which is where I normally have my pores, and my nose, which is where I tend to get the oiliest throughout my face. And then whatever's left, I like to take it on my forehead and my chin. So for me, I really like to look really glowy and really radiant when I have very little makeup on, and the way that I achieve that is using my strobe cream from MAC. And this one is in the color Gold Light. Honestly, this is so bomb, you guys. I even use this like by itself sometimes just to give myself that glowy look without having to wear any foundation or anything. Now you can honestly mix this with your foundation and kind of make more of like a tinted moisturizer, but I personally like to just put it on the highest points of my face, which would be right here on my cheekbone area. And I kind of like to take it under the brow as well, kind of like a C, you can say, right here. And then same thing to the other side. A little bit on the chin, a little bit on the forehead. And I do try to avoid this area because, again, that's where I get oily, and I don't want to look greasy by the end of the day. So I really just highlight the points where I know I'm not going to get oily and where I feel like I need it. So you can kind of see that glow that this strobe cream gives you, and honestly, again, it's one of my favorites, and it's so good. My favorite everyday foundation is the MAC Face and Body. This honestly is so good. It doesn't have full coverage right away, but I feel like you can definitely build it up to medium coverage. What I like to do with this, I don't take it all over my face. I really just take a small amount and put it in areas where I want to even out my skin. So what I like to do is grab a little bit of it on the back of my hand, and right now my summer shade is C6. I'm normally a C5, but I did get a little bit darker right now in the summer, so I had to switch over. And my favorite brush to apply this with is the G40. and it's just a small brush from Morphe. And what I like to do is just put it, I kind of start on the center of my face and work it out, because normally right here in the center is where I get a little bit reddish and I have a little bit like of spots and stuff, like little red marks, and I just like to cover that a little bit. So that's why I start in the center and then work out. Now, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I'm even barely touching my skin. I'm just doing it very lightly. And this foundation also has like a glow to it, which I love because it makes your skin just look super healthy. And then whatever's left on the brush is what I take out over here. So I did half of my face so you can kind of see the difference between both sides. This one has no foundation at all, just my primer and my moisturizers. And this has the foundation on. Now I put a very light layer. I didn't cake it on. If I did put a second layer, it will take me up to medium coverage instead of light. But again, it's really hot outside, so I don't want to wear so much to where I feel super heavy and just that like sticky feeling. I hate that, so that's why I only put a little bit. You can see that it even out like this right here, that redness and those spots right here. You barely can even see them. Now, if you did want to have a little bit more coverage, then I would just apply it in those areas instead of going all over with a second layer. Alright, so once that layer is on and I feel satisfied with how it looks, then that's when I move on to concealer. Now, sometimes I don't use concealer. Sometimes I just take whatever's left on my brush and kind of run it under my eyes. But lately, I feel like I haven't had enough sleep, so I do have a little bit of darkness under my eyes. I'm just going to take a little bit of the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer and apply the smallest amount under my eyes. So right here, I'm just going to dot it very lightly. And I'm going to take my Beauty Blender and just start pressing that into the skin. Alright, so now just to make sure my face isn't sticky and stuff and I can't feel the liquid foundation, I'm going to set it with a little bit of powder, but just the smallest amount of it. I'm going to take my MAC Studio Fix powder, and this one is in the shade NC42, and I'm going to take that on a big fluffy brush and just very lightly pat it on my skin. Alright, so the next thing that I like to do is just bronze up my face. I want to give it a little bit of color since I only have my foundation and a little bit of concealer. And what I like to grab is my Hoola bronzer. I take a brush from Morphe, and this one is the E4. This one is really nice because it has an angle to it and it's also super soft. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of the bronzer and just kind of start warming up my face. Now for my favorite part of it all is the highlight. I honestly take the longest when it comes to my highlight because I really want to look glowy. And the way that I get my glow is using two highlighters. Now, normally in the winter, I would only use Champagne Pop to get that glow that I want. But right now, again, since I am pretty bronzy and I did get a little darker, I like to take my Mimi from the Mariah Carey and Matte collection. This one is really bronzy, like it almost looks coppery, and it's a little dark for me when I'm lighter. So mixing these two honestly are so nice. This one is more of a subtle glow in my opinion, so just mixing it with the Champagne Pop from Becca kind of makes the best combinations. My favorite brush for highlighting right now is the Morphe M438, and it honestly looks just like a big blending brush. What I'm going to do is mainly take most of the MAC one on my brush and then just kind of swipe it once on the Becca Champagne Pop. Tap off the excess and then put it on the highest points of my face. And I'm really going to try to put it right under my brow and right here on my cheekbone. And also kind of take it up a little bit on my forehead. Now I'm going to take a little bit more and put it on my Cupid's bow, on my chin, and my nose. I'm just going to put it on the tip of my nose. Once the highlight is on, I just like to go back with my bronzing brush and kind of making sure that both of those are nice and blended and that you can't just see the highlighter like a straight line of it. So I just take it and making sure to blend those two together. Now for my brows, I don't want to do nothing dramatic since I don't have a full face of makeup. So what I'm going to take is my dark brown brow definer from Anastasia and just very lightly run it through my brow. So what I like to do first is brush them, making sure that they are in place, and now just very lightly go through them. Just like that, and then you always want to brush through them just so they look a little bit more natural. And I'm not being super precise with them. I really just want to give them a little bit more fullness. And then the last thing that I like to do is just curl my lashes and put mascara on. This is probably the step that I will not walk out of the house without. I love my mascara. I have to put it on. Even if I'm not wearing any foundation, I have to put a little bit of mascara on. My favorite one is the Better Than Sex from Too Faced in the waterproof. So all I'm going to do right now is just curl my lashes. Now I'm just going to put a really nice layer of mascara on my lashes. And I'm always super messy with my mascara. It doesn't matter if I get some on my eyelids, especially because I'm not wearing any eyeshadow. So once I'm done, I just like to go over and clean it. So I do like to be pretty messy with it and really making sure to coat all of my lashes. Now for my bottom lashes, I'm just going to put a tiny bit of mascara, nothing like I do the top, just run it. I'm just gonna run the mascara once on my lashes. I'm not gonna go as heavy as I did on the top. There we go. So for my everyday lipstick, I actually love the Milani one, and this one is in the shade Honey. This one was from their fall collection of last year, so I'm not sure if they even have this available anymore. But a color that is really similar to this from Milani as well is the shade Adorable. I know that shade is permanent, but yeah, this one is honestly my favorite shade, and I use it as my everyday lipstick. And I'm just gonna blot a little bit on my hand, just because I want that hint of pink, but not all the way, if that makes sense. So once that's on, now I'm just going to set my face with my Urban Decay setting spray, the all-nighter one. Doesn't matter how much makeup I have on, I still like to set it. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and let that dry. This is the final look, you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I had so much fun finally filming what I normally use on my everyday or when I'm in a rush. I don't wear so much color and so much makeup all the time. I really do enjoy a really subtle, natural look for when I just want a little bit on my face and not have to do all that much work. So again, I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.